Part 20. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 191. When Fu Chaoying walked up to him, Shen Tianrui suddenly felt that the girl in front of him looked familiar. Have they met before? Before he recognized Fu Chaoying was already looking at him with surprise and cheering, "Captain Shen, why are you here?" When Shen Tianrui saw her smiling face, an idea flashed in his mind, and he suddenly thought of a familiar scene. He looked at her in surprise and asked, "Are you the beautiful woman who helped me catch the robber 2 months ago?" Fu Chaoying nodded vigorously, smiled and extended her hand to him, and said generously, "It's me. I'm very happy to see Captain Shen here again." Shen Tianxing was a little surprised when he saw them chatting with each other. What an unexpected surprise! She looked at them with a smile and said, "Brother, Sister Ying, you two are indeed destined." Fu Chaoying and Shen Tianrui were a little embarrassed by Shen Tianxing's teasing. After looking at each other, they quickly turned away. In order to save them from embarrassment, Shen Tianxing smiled and greeted the others, Aunt Mei, Sister Ying, Sister Xiu, Sister Ying, and the two brothers-in-law. "Let's go inside first and have a cup of tea. Let's take a break and then start playing games." When Li Mei saw Shen Tianrui, her eyes lit up, and when she heard Shen Tianxing's metaphorical words, she began to make plans in her heart. At this time, she heard Shen Tianxing calling them in, which was exactly what she wanted. Li Mei also laughed and said, "Then go in and rest for a while." As soon as everyone entered, Li Mei pulled Shen Tianxing aside and asked, "Xiao Xing, is your first cousin married?" Shen Tianxing smiled and shook his head, "No, he doesn't even have a girlfriend. He usually solves cases all day long. By the time the Lunar New Year is over, he is already 28 years old and he hasn't found a girlfriend yet. Why don't you know, my aunt is so worried that she keeps asking me to find him a girlfriend with the same horoscope." When Li Mei heard what Shen Tianxing said, she quickly asked, "Xiao Xing, what do you think of our third child? Your cousin has celebrated the 28th of the New Year, and my third child has celebrated the 26th of the New Year. The two of them are exactly the same age. Besides, our two families also know the basics. If my third child can marry into your Shen family, I will be completely relieved." Shen Tianxing smiled and patted Li Mei's shoulder lightly, "Aunt Mei, I have already done the fortune telling. If nothing unexpected happens, you will get what you want. You can be ready." Li Mei held her hand in surprise, "Really? Oh, that's great, really great. From now on, our two families will just kiss each other, ha 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 ha." Shen Tianxing gave her a suggestion, "Aunt Mei, how about we test the tone of my cousin and Sister Ying for a while? If they don't have any objections, I will send you to my mother and let her lead you. How about you go meet my eldest aunt and discuss their marriage?" Li Mei looked at Shen Tianxing with joy and said excitedly, "Oh, Xiao Xing, your idea is great. Okay, let's do it." She is now eager to settle on this marriage immediately so that the two young people can get married and be together as soon as possible. After the problem of the third child in her family is solved, she will only have Xiaofan to worry about. After the two people finished discussing, they returned to their seats. The eldest son, Fu Chaoying, looked at her mother with a smile on her face and asked curiously, "Mom, did Xiao Xing tell you something good? Look at you smiling so happily." Li Mei pretended to be mysterious and hissed at Fu Chaoying, "There is something good. I will tell you when I get home." Seeing that it was getting late, Shen Tianxing smiled and said to them, "Have you all rested? Once we have rested, we will prepare to change clothes and set off immediately." Shen Tianxing asked manager Huang Li to prepare all kinds of equipment for field battles early in the morning. "Then change clothes. Let's go together." After they all changed their clothes and came out, Shen Tianxing explained the rules of the game to them in detail. 5 people, Fu Chaoying and his wife, Fu Kaoxiu and his wife, and Fu Kaofan, formed Group A. 5 people, Shen Tianrui, Fu Chaoying, Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng, formed Group B. After listening to Shen Tianxing's assignment, they quickly asked her, Xiao Xing, what about you? Shen Tianxing said with a smile, as a mobile operator, I will be responsible for your safety. Fu Chaoying asked Li Mei again, Mom, what about you? Li Mei smiled and replied, I won't play with you anymore. I want to talk to Xiaoxing's mother. Fu Chaoying also knew that her mother had a good relationship with Xiaoxing's mother. When Li Mei said this, she had no doubt, that's okay. Shen Tianxing called Oriole again and asked her to find someone to drive a battery car to take Li Mei to her home. After everything was arranged, Shen Tianxing drove a large battery car and took the group of them to the largest field area to play. This live CS field area is basically designed according to the facilities of the military headquarters. Shen Tianxing thought to herself that with her eldest brother Shen Tianrui in Group B, in the end, the people in Group B would definitely win. She hopes that by playing a real-life CS field game this time, Fu Chaoying and Shen Tianrui can really fall in love. However, looking at Fu Chaoying's rare shy look and Shen Tianrui's red ears, it seems that their good deeds will be coming soon. Most of the people here are playing this real-person CS field game for the first time. They all hold BB guns in their hands and feel inexplicably excited. When they arrived at their destination, the two groups found their own trenches. After Shen Tianxing gave the order, the two groups began to fight fiercely. The final result was just as Shen Tianxing expected. Group B led by Shen Tianrui successfully killed Group A and became the biggest winner. Fu Chaoying also admired Shen Tianrui's heroic and wise performance in the fierce battle. He felt that this man was really born for this kind of battlefield. He was so cool and handsome. During the battle, Shen Tianrui always remembered to take care of her so that the other party's flames of war could not burn her. After Shen Tianxing was sure that the two people had eyes for each other, he used his mobile phone to send messages to Li Mei and her mother Li Xiaoxia respectively, they too have eyes for each other. Ha ha ha. Li Mei, who had been waiting for Shen Tianxing's message, felt particularly happy when she received the message from Shen Tianxing, Axia, Axia, it's done, they are done. Li Xiaoxia raised her phone and said with a smile, I also received the message. Li Mei asked eagerly again with hope, then can we go and talk to the in-laws? Li Xiaoxia smiled and said to her, don't worry, Xiao Xing will take them home for dinner later, and then I will call my eldest brother and sister-in-law over. After dinner, you can have a good chat. How about it? Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 192. Okay, I'll listen to you. After Li Mei said this happily, she said to Li Xiaoxia with emotion, oh, I really didn't expect such a good thing to happen today. Axia, I'm really happy, very happy, we are really lucky to be able to marry your Shen family. Li Xiaoxia also laughed and said, it is a blessing for our Shen family to have such a good in-law like you. I will send a message to my eldest brother and sister-in-law right now to ask them to come over for lunch. Li Mei nodded and chuckled, okay, this matter is really troublesome for you and Xiao Xing. When they are done, I will definitely send you mother and daughter a big red envelope. Li Xiaoxia replied with an angry smile, why are you so polite to us? While chatting with Li Mei, she called her sister-in-law Ma Hongying and said, sister-in-law, Tianrui's good deeds have come to fruition. You and your parents can come over to my place for lunch and get together with the woman's family. When Ma Hongying heard Li Xiaoxia's words, she almost jumped up with excitement. She immediately replied, okay, we'll be there in a minute, we'll be there in a minute. Ma Hongying always remembered what Shen Tianxing said, saying that her precious son would have good things happen this month, and she had been looking forward to this day. Unexpectedly, this month has just begun, and this good thing has already come to my door. Ha ha ha, it is really great, great. After Ma Hongying hung up the phone on Li Xiaoxia, she immediately called Shen Wenjun from the village committee to find her home. As soon as Shen Wenjun answered the phone, she told him about the matter excitedly. Shen Wenjun was very happy after hearing this and promised to come back from the village committee immediately. Ma Hongying finally told the two elderly people at home about the matter. When Mr. Shen and Mrs. Shen heard that Shen Tianrui's marriage was settled, they were about to meet the girl's parents, and they were very excited. Mrs. Shen smiled and narrowed her eyes. Now that's good, our Xiaorui is finally getting a wife. Mr. Shen added with a smile, we two old guys can also have a grandson, ha ha ha. After Ma Hongying and the two elders of the Shen family packed up, they rushed towards the Tianxing's house next door in an eager mood. Seeing that the girl's head was Li Mei, who often visited Tianxing's house, the two elders of the Shen family relaxed immediately, and soon they were chatting enthusiastically with Li Mei. When Shen Tianxing took them home for dinner, the parents and relatives on both sides got to know each other and were very satisfied with each other. Shen Tianrui and Fu Chaoying also saw it right, and the marriage was just a matter of course. Shen Tianxing, the matchmaker, was also very happy. Watching the couple form a happy marriage with her help, she felt particularly fulfilled. In the eager mood of the two families, their wedding date was quickly set. Because the new year of 2001 was coming soon, under the strong request of the man, the wedding date was set on January 29, the first year of the lunar calendar. It's January 2nd now, less than a month before the 29th. While everyone is gathered, everyone starts to discuss preparing for the wedding. Shen Tianxing was stunned by their amazing speed. This is the real flash wedding. After the marriage, Fu Chaoying said to Shen Tianxing, actually, I already liked him when I was catching a thief with your brother, but because I was busy with work and didn't have much opportunity, I didn't take the initiative to pursue him. But I already have him in my heart, so I am very grateful to you, Xiaoxing, for sending your brother to me. Shen Tianrui, a man who has always been cold and rational, when the two of them worked together to catch the thief, also left a deep impression on Fu Chaoying, who was very skilled and good-looking. If it were an ordinary woman, he really couldn't remember it and wouldn't bother to remember it. That's why Shen Tianxing said that they were a match made in heaven, a happy marriage destined to be together. After settling his eldest brother's lifelong affairs and after the New Year's holiday, Shen Tianxing went back to work at the Xingzi Charity Foundation. At work that day, Shen Tianxing was sitting in a car driven by Yan Wenzhen. When she was about to enter the parking lot of the Xingzi Charity Foundation, she suddenly called Yan Wenzhen to stop. Wenzhen, stop for a moment. I'll get out of the car first, and then you can go park the car. Yan Wenzhen asked with concern, Xiaoxing, what's the matter? Shen Tianxing replied, I saw a ghost at the ghost help station asking for help. When Yan Wenzhen heard this, a hint of admiration flashed in his eyes, then go quickly. The ghost help station is a point specially set up by Shen Tianxing outside the defense formation to redress the grievances of ghosts and fulfill their wishes. She set up the yin gathering array here. As long as the ghost stays in the yin gathering array, the soul will not dissipate so quickly. Shen Tianxing felt that since she was lucky enough to get the Eye of God and wanted to punish evil and promote good for heaven, she hoped that she could not only help people, but also help some unjust deaths and ghosts lingering in the world, so that they could all. He fulfilled his wish and successfully went to the underworld to be reincarnated. This ghost help station is invisible to ordinary people, except for Shen Tianxing, who has a clairvoyance, and the ghosts who want to ask for help, so it will naturally not scare ordinary people. Shen Tianxing walked slowly over and walked into the ghost help station. She looked at the male ghost in front of her who had obviously died in a car accident, and asked him through voice transmission, I am Shen Tianxi, do you need my help with anything? As soon as the male ghost saw Shen Tianxing coming in, he huddled in the corner and looked at her curiously with his eyes open. When he heard Shen Tianxing's voice, he became excited and said, "Can you see me? Are you a heavenly master? Then you set up this ghost help station." Shen Tianxing nodded, "Yes, if you have any unfulfilled wishes, I can help you complete them. After you complete them, you will obediently go to the underworld and be reincarnated. Are there any questions?" "No problem, no problem." The male ghost shook his head violently, with a trace of sadness in his eyes. "My wife and I are worried about my son now. He is only 3 or 4 years old. Both of us were hit by a car and died, leaving him alone, and so small. What should I do?" When Shen Tianxing heard his description, he instantly remembered the tragic car accident that Fu Fan said on the second day. She immediately asked him, "Are you from the family that had a car accident on Star Road on the 2ND? The male ghost nodded fiercely, his eyes a little blood red. "Yes, yes, Heavenly Master, do you also know about that car accident? It's all the fault of that damn big car driver. He suddenly turned at a red light and turned right into the car. We were hit while crossing the road, leaving our family of 3 separated from each other." Sensing that his soul was a little irritable, Shen Tianxing quickly comforted him and said, "Don't worry, speak slowly and I will help you. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 193. While Shen Tianxing was persuading him, he used spiritual power on his spirit body to soothe his soul. The male ghost immediately felt a comfortable breath coming from Shen Tianxing to his spirit body. His soul, which was so manic that it wanted to explode, also felt waves of coolness in an instant, making his soul settle down in an instant. He glanced at Shen Tianxing gratefully and said to Shen Tianxing in a calmer tone, "Master Shen Tianxing, my name is Luo Weikan, my wife is Wu Shan, and my son is Luo Yang. He is only 3.5 years old this year." When he said this, his voice was choked up, as if something was blocking his throat, making him speechless. Shen Tianxing sighed slightly in his heart, waiting quietly for him to calm down before continuing. After a while, Luo Weikan continued, "Both my wife and I have lost our parents. I can't trust the other relatives in our family. Once we die, this child will have no relatives." Having said this, he knelt down towards Shen Tianxing and said, "Please help Heavenly Master, have mercy on my son. My wife and I have heard of your Xingzi Charity Foundation, so we both hope that the couple's car accident compensation can be donated to Tianji's Xingzi Charity Foundation. I also implore Tianji to be merciful and help me raise my son Luo Yang. Please." Shen Tianxing stretched out his hand and gently lifted up his spirit body. "Okay, I will take over your matter. Once I have settled your son, I will send you to reincarnation, okay?" Luo Weikan nodded repeatedly and said hurriedly, "Yes, yes, as long as my son's future life is guaranteed, then our husband and wife will have nothing to worry about." At this point, he seemed to have thought of something, and said to Shen Tianxing, "By the way, Master Tian, I still have a house in the house that is being donated, and I also have a little savings, which are all in the house where I live. At that time, they will be donated to Tianji's Xingzi Charitable Foundation." Shen Tianxing pondered for a moment. "Okay, we'll handle these things later. Let's go get your son Luo Yang over here first. Do you know where your son is now?" Luo Weikan replied, "The child is still at the traffic police brigade on Mingxing Road." At this time, Yan Wenzhen had parked the car and walked to Shen Tianxing's side. Shen Tianxing immediately said to her, "Wenzhen, go and drive the car out, and we'll go to the traffic police brigade on Mingxing Road." "Yes." Yan Wenzhen went in again and drove the car out. Shen Tianxing greeted Luo Weikan into the car, and together they headed towards the traffic police brigade on Mingxing Road. Before going to the traffic police brigade, Shen Tianxing made another call to Shen Wenzheng, told Shen Wenzheng about Luo Weiken's situation, and asked Shen Wenzheng, how should this matter be resolved? Shen Wenzheng thought for a while and then replied, in this matter, if you want to get the inheritance rights of the house and inheritance based on just a ghost, it is tantamount to empty talk and no evidence. People will not think that then. You are doing good deeds, but you will think that you are using the name of doing good deeds to covet other people's property. Unless. Shen Tianxing asked, unless what? Shen Wenzheng replied, unless you can get that ghost to write a will with his own hands, and the will must be written before his death to be valid. Shen Tianxing turned to look at Luo Weiken, did you hear what my uncle said? Luo Weiken nodded, I heard it, then I will immediately write a will to the Xingzi Charitable Foundation, stating that if an accident happens to me, all the property in my name will be donated to the Xingzi Charitable Foundation. The condition is that I hope that help me raise my son Luo Yang to adulthood. Then before entering the traffic police brigade, write this will first. If they don't believe it, then I will ask you to show up and prove it to them. Yan Wenzhen, who was driving, trembled when he heard what Shen Tianxing said to the end. She could completely imagine that scene. When Shen Tianxing asked Luo Weiken to prove it, those people would be scared to death. I'm afraid only Shen Tianxing, who is used to seeing strange things, is not afraid of these things. Arriving at the gate of the traffic police brigade, Luo Weiken first said to Shen Tianxing, Master Shen, look, my wife is there. Shen Tianxing followed his hand and looked over. Sure enough, I saw a female ghost who was killed in a car accident, huddled in the dark corner, her eyes looking straight at the gate of the traffic police brigade, as if waiting for something. Shen Tianxing said to Luo Weiken, go and call her over. You and your wife will write this will together. Good. Just as Luo Weiken was about to float out of the car, Shen Tianxing quickly drew an amulet on his spirit body to protect his spirit body from being burned by the sun's rays. Luo Weiken drifted out of the car and realized that he was not afraid of the sun today. He couldn't help but look back at Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded at him, and Luo Weiken understood instantly. Master Shen must have helped him again. This Master Shen Tian is really a good person. After this period of public service announcements, the good reputation of Xingzi Charitable Foundation has spread. Luo Weiken had the idea of asking for help from the Xingzi Charity Foundation, so he asked his wife to watch at the traffic police brigade while he ran to find Shen Tianxing. He also didn't expect that as soon as he went to Xingzi building, he saw a big sign for the ghost help station next to the gate, only ghosts could see it. Luo Weiken was overjoyed at that time and immediately waited for Shen Tianxing's arrival. But on the third day, Shen Tianxing didn't come, and he waited in vain for a whole day. After waiting for a day and 2 nights, he saw Shen Tianxing. It's fine now, and the couple's wish will soon come true. If their precious son can be saved by a living bodhisattva like Shen Tianxing, and with her as his guardian, his son will definitely be fine in the future, and they can rest assured to reincarnate. Luo Weiken floated in front of Wu Shanshan and told Wu Shanshan everything Shen Tianxing said. Wu Shanshan was also very grateful. Next to Luo Weiken, relying on the amulet light on his body, they floated together in front of Shen Tianxing. As soon as Wu Shanshan saw Shen Tianxing, she bowed deeply to her and said with tears in her eyes, Master Shen Tianxing, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to help our couple raise this child. Thank you very much. Shen Tianxing also promised them, don't worry, since I have taken over your job, I will naturally bear it to the end and will not let your children be wronged. Hurry up and get in the car. You must fill out your will first, so that I can go to the traffic police brigade to pick up your children. As for your property, I will only use it to raise your children. The funds will be used for special purposes. You will not misappropriate a penny, so don't worry. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 194. Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan felt more relieved after hearing Shen Tianxing's promise. Wu Shanshan said to her with gratitude, Master Shen Tian, we believe in you. Thank you very much. If there is an afterlife, our husband and wife will definitely repay your kindness. Shen Tianxing smiled at them and said, I understand your thoughts. It's better to write a will quickly. Good. Shen Tianxing took out a small computer desk, paper and pen from the space, and asked Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan to sit in the back seat of the car and write. Yan Wenzhen looked back and didn't see them. He only saw a pen writing rustling on the paper. Although she had been following Shen Tianxing for a while, when she knew there were two ghosts around her, she still felt a coldness on her back, which was a bit chilly. Shen Tianxing waved his hand and injected a trace of spiritual power into Yan Wenzhen's body. She is not afraid of the yin energy emanating from these spirits, but Yan Wen is really an ordinary person. If the yin energy enters his body, he will get sick at least, or something serious will happen. Yan Wenzhen felt her body warm and knew what method Shen Tianxing used to protect her body. Shen Tianxing suddenly thought that Yan Wenzhen had been following her, and it was inevitable that he would often encounter such things in the future. When she is free, she still wants to make a protective jade token for Yan Wenzhen to prevent her from being affected or hurt accidentally. When Luo Weikan finished writing the will, he and Wu Shanshan signed their names together and handed it to Shen Tianxing with both hands. Shen Tianxing looked it over and found that there was no problem, so he said to them, let's go, you guys go in with me to pick up Luo Yang. Wenzhen, wait for us in the car. Yan Wenzhen responded, okay. To outsiders, Shen Tianxing walked into the traffic police brigade alone. No one saw her, but behind her were two ghosts whose bodies were twisted and deformed by the car accident. Captain Holinson of the traffic police brigade on Mingxing Road had already received a call from Shen Wenzheng. Knowing that Shen Tianxing was coming, he stood waiting at the door early in the morning. As soon as he saw Shen Tianxing walking in, he hurriedly greeted him, hello, Master Shen. I am Captain Holinson of the traffic police brigade. Please come in. Shen Tianxing nodded to Huo Linson, hello, Captain Huo. I wonder how the kid Luo Yang is doing. Holinson sighed softly, the child may have witnessed the death of his parents live. He seems to be in a bad state of mind now. He is not talking and is in a daze. I am also afraid that something will happen to this child. Shen Tianxing had guessed before that the child might be frightened, but to what extent he would be frightened would have to be seen to know. Now listening to what Holinson said, the child seemed to be more frightened than she expected. Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan, who had been following Shen Tianxing, heard what Holinson said. One was anxious, and the other was in tears. The couple both looked at Shen Tianxing and said anxiously to Shen Tianxing, Master Shen Tianxing, you must save our Luo Yang. Master Shen Tian, this child Yang Yang has always been very well behaved. Please save him. Shen Tianxing waved his hands towards them and said to them through voice transmission, don't worry, no matter what happens to Luo Yang, I will cure him, don't worry. Although Shen Tianxing said this, Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan were still worried. Holinson and the others placed little Luo Yang in their lounge. They took turns taking care of him here these days, buying him food and coaxing him to play. As soon as Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan entered the house, they saw their always lively and lovely son, like an idiot, holding a small pug toy, huddled in the corner of the bed, and the couple cried uncontrollably. Yang Yang, Yang Yang, mother is here, my Yang Yang. Yang Yang, dad is here, Yang Yang, Yang Yang. It's a pity that no matter how they shout or howl, little Luo Yang can't hear them. This despair and helplessness of eternal separation overwhelmed the couple in an instant. Seeing that they could not wake up their son, the couple knelt down to Shen Tianxing again, Master Shen, please, save my son, please, woo woo, woo woo woo. Shen Tianxing couldn't help but feel sad and wanted to cry when he heard the couple crying heartbreakingly. At this time, Holinson said to Shen Tianxing, "This child has been like this for the past 2 days, and we have nothing to do. Master Shen, is there anything you can do?" Shen Tianxing nodded to Holinson, "Let me try it." She also said this to Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan. Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan quickly stood up and stepped aside so that Shen Tianxing could come forward to see their precious son. Little Luoyang is very cute, with a pair of black jewel-like eyes on his chubby little face, and long eyelashes, which makes him look particularly cute. But at this time, his eyes, which usually seemed very lively, were dull and lacked any vitality. Shen Tianxing stepped forward, reached out and caressed the child's forehead, and penetrated Xiao Luoyang's sea of consciousness to check. Shen Tianxing quickly discovered the problem. This child now suffers from amnesia, and one of his 3 souls and 7 souls has been lost. Shen Tianxing retracted his hand and said to Huilinson, Luo Weikan, and Wu Shanshan, "This child was frightened very much. Now he has aphansia. I am going to call the child's spirit back. Please don't disturb me for a while, okay?" Holinson nodded, "Okay." He was also a little confused about Shen Tianxing's statement. He was obviously the only one here besides her. She didn't say you, but you. Could it be that there was someone else here besides him? Holinson looked left and right, but still found no one. Suddenly he thought of the parents of the child who died tragically. Could it be them? Regarding the legend of Shen Tianxing, every veteran employee in their entire public security system knew about it. She is amazing. He has many mysterious methods. She helped Director Shen solve many major and important cases, and was jokingly called the little lucky star of the Public Security Bureau by the old police officers. If Shen Tianxing told him at this time that the child's parents were with them, Holinson would not be surprised at all. But Zhigi knew that whenever he thought about a real ghost around him, he would still feel cold all over and his hair would stand on end. Shen Tianxing is currently reciting the soul calling spell, Luo Yang, the soul has returned, Luo Yang, the soul has returned. Shen Tianxing read for a while, and when she opened her eyes, she saw little Luo Yang's soul coming back. She quickly led the soul back to Xiao Luoyang's sea of consciousness, and injected a spiritual energy into his 3 souls and 7 souls to restore his sanity to normal. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 195. In order to prevent little Luoyang from remembering the horrific scene of his parents' tragic death again, and to prevent his young mind from encountering terrible nightmares again, Shen Tianxing temporarily sealed little Luoyang's previous memories of number 2. When he reaches the age of 18, if he still wants to find his previous memories, he will automatically restore them. After taking these preventive measures, Shen Tianxing allowed Xiao Luoyang to regain his consciousness and let him open his eyes and wake up. The first thing Xiao Luoyang saw when he regained consciousness was Shen Tianxing. The little guy seemed a little confused at first and looked at her innocently for a long time. Then, the little guy blinked his eyes innocently a few more times. Finally, he shouted softly and cutely, "Little sister." His adorable look instantly softened Shen Tianxing's heart. Shen Tianxing smiled warmly at him, opened his arms to him, and coaxed him in a gentle tone, "Yang Yang, be good, come here, let me give you a hug, okay?" The little guy nodded shyly and responded with a sweet voice, "Okay." The little guy instinctively felt that this little sister was a good person and very good looking, just like the fairy on TV. He liked this little sister very much. Seeing little Luo Yang rushing toward her, Shen Tianxing hugged him tightly in an instant and praised him again, "Yang Yang is so good, my sister likes you so much." The little guy shyly and softly said to Shen Tianxing, "Yang Yang also likes sister." Shen Tianxing asked him gently again, "How about Yang Yang and sister go home?" A trace of hesitation and confusion suddenly flashed across Xiao Luoyang's face. After a while, he slowly nodded his head with a trace of hesitation and said softly, "Okay." Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan, who had been watching from the side, looked at the innocent but helpless look of their doting son in their hands, and then thought that they were about to say goodbye to their son. The couple could not control their tears and burst into tears. Shen Tianxing watched them cry so hard that their souls were shaking, and he sighed softly in his heart. Even though she has seen many such scenes of life and death, every time she sees them, she still feels sad, heartbroken, and sad for them, and she also feels very uncomfortable in her heart. But people and ghosts have different paths, and no matter how reluctant they are to leave, they still have to leave in the end. Huo Linson, the captain of the traffic police brigade, couldn't help but secretly admire Shen Tianxing in his heart when he saw that Shen Tianxing had brought the little guy back to his senses. This little master truly deserves his reputation. She is already so powerful at such a young age. When she grows up, she will be even more incredible, right? Hollinson was also relieved to see that the little guy was well. If it weren't for Shen Tianxing, they really wouldn't be able to take care of this child for a few days. I'm afraid this child's final destination will be an orphanage. Fortunately, now that Shen Tianxing is in charge, they can rest assured to leave it to her. After all, the charitable deeds done by Shen Tianxing during this period were noticed by many people in Su City. She spent real money to do good deeds, not just to gain fame and reputation. Hollinson also deeply admires such a noble person. With this child in Shen Tianxing's hands, he could rest assured. The will prepared by Shen Tianxing was of no use to Hollinson. Hollinson just reminded Shen Tianxing and told her to go through the legal adoption procedures as soon as she had time, so that no one would use the child to make trouble in the future. Shen Tianxing also thanked him for his kindness, and took little Luoyang to the Civil Affairs Bureau, where he completed the adoption procedures for little Luoyang based on the reputation of the Xingzi Charitable Foundation. Finally, he took the family of 3 back to the Xingzi Charity Foundation. After Shen Tianxing settled little Luoyang, he said to Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan, "I will take good care of the child, so you can go without worry." Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan knelt down to Shen Tianxing again. The couple kowtowed to her 3 times, "Thank you Shen Tianxi for your great kindness. I will leave our child to you, please." Shen Tianxing did not dodge. The 3 slaps she received from the couple also represented her promise that she would help them take care of the child. Seeing the reluctant eyes of the couple looking at the child, and the scene of Wu Shanshan crying and falling into Luo Weikan's arms, Shen Tianxing's eyes also heated up. But she still recited the rebirth mantra for them. After reciting the rebirth mantra, the door to the underworld slowly opened. Luo Weikan and Wu Shanshan looked back at the child 3 times and said to Shen Tianxing again, "Master Shen, the child is in your care." Shen Tianxing also responded again, "I will take good care of him, don't worry." Seeing the door to the underworld closing again, and then seeing the ignorant little guy, Shen Tianxing felt particularly heavy. Doing charity requires not only money and effort, but also responsibility and responsibility. Just like this little guy, when she accepted him, she was responsible for him and taught him to grow up. At least, she was responsible until the day he became an adult at the age of 18. Fortunately, she is not doing this charity work alone, but leading a group of people to do it. As Shen Tianxing did more and more good deeds, her merits accumulated more and more, and the opportunity to break through to the realm of alchemy had arrived. On this night, Shen Tianxing successfully formed the elixir in space and officially entered the realm of elixir formation and became a golden elixir Taoist. Little Luoyang likes to stick to Shen Tianxing, and Shen Tianxing takes him to sleep for the time being. Having an extra child around brought some inconveniences. Every time Shen Tianxing wanted to enter the space, he had to do so while he was asleep. On weekends, Shen Tianxing would take him home. After Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia learned about the child's life experience, they sympathized and felt sorry for the child, and they pampered the cute little Luoyang as if they were their own sons. Little Luoyang also felt the love Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia had for him, and called them affectionately, Daddy Shen, Mommy Li. With such a good family atmosphere and environment like the Shen family, little Luoyang quickly returned to his former lively and cute self. Slowly, Shen Tianxing handed over little Luoyang to his mother, Li Xiaoxia. Shen Tianxing saw that although little Luoyang had no spiritual roots, he was very good at practicing martial arts, so he also started asking him to get up early with Shen Wenru to exercise, lay a solid foundation, and start practicing martial arts when he was older. In the blink of an eye, the wedding time of the cousin and Fu Chaoying has arrived. The venue where they held their wedding was at the resort hotel in their Shen ecological manor. The Shen family is now the richest man in Su City, and Shen Tianrui is the eldest grandson of the Shen family. He is also married to Fu Chaoying, the third lady of Fu's jewelry company. The wedding of the two is naturally very grand. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 196. On this day, people from both political and business circles came together to congratulate him, and it was very lively. There were also many families who had not received wedding invitations from Shen and Fu, but they also sent gifts politely, just to make their presence felt in front of the Shen family, especially Shen Tianxing. For these wealthy people, if they can leave a favor by spending a little money, it would be worth it. As the groom's official, Shen Tianrui was also very excited today. Early in the morning, he led a group of groomsmen and drove a mighty fleet of luxury cars to the Fu family's villa to greet the bride. At Fu's house, after all kinds of deliberate attempts by the bridesmaids to make things difficult for her, Shen Tianrui finally succeeded in getting his beautiful daughter-in-law out. The group of people got back into the luxury car and happily returned to the resort hotel of Shen's ecological manor with the wedding procession. Firecrackers roared and crackled. The whole wedding process had a grand, lively, and festive atmosphere. The groom and the bride looked at each other, expressing affection with their eyebrows. Deep happiness also spreads in their hearts. Shen Tianxing sat at the relatives' table with his parents, younger brother, and Dugu Zixi. She also looked at the happy marriage of her cousin and Fu Chaoying with a smile, and sent them beautiful blessings, wishing that they would love each other forever, grow old together, be united forever, and have children soon. Dugu Zixi held Shen Tianxing's hand tightly and asked her quietly via voice transmission, Xiaoxing, when will we get married? Shen Tianxing smiled angrily and glanced at him, we are still very early. You, just wait slowly. Dugu Zixi's handsome face fell instantly, and he looked at her sadly, as if he was accusing her of being ruthless. Shen Tianxing was too lazy to pay attention to him. Anyway, she was still young and had not considered getting married yet. When Dugu Zixi saw that Shen Tianxing was ignoring him, he grabbed her palm under the table and scratched her. It made Shen Tianxing want to laugh and slap him. She grabbed his hand with her backhand and squeezed it hard. Hearing his low breathing, Shen Tianxing let go of his hand with satisfaction. When Dugu Zixi received her glare, he smiled softly and stopped teasing her, fearing that if he went too far and she was really angry, he would have to kneel on the washboard to beg for mercy again when he entered the space at night. When the newlyweds were toasting, Shen Tianrui and Fu Chaoying offered a special toast to Shen Tianxing, thanking her for connecting them and making them have such a good marriage. Shen Tianrui stuffed a big red envelope into her early this morning, saying it was a gift to thank the matchmaker. Shen Tianxing saw that there was only one bank card inside. Later, when she checked, she found out that there was a full 1 million in the bank card. This matchmaking gift was really big enough. Everyone in the Shen family, including Mr. Shen's children and grandchildren, has a share in the Shen ecological manor. Shen Tianxing also knew that her cousin received a lot of dividends every year, so she was not polite to Shen Tianrui. She thought that she would pay it back to them after they gave birth to a son. What she likes is their deep affection for her. Li Mei and Ma Hongying also gave Li Xiaoxia a large thank you gift as a matchmaker. Li Xiaoxia refused, but they still forced it on her, which made Li Xiaoxia feel a little embarrassed. She even came here to ask Shen Tianxing what to do with this big red envelope. But Shen Tianxing smiled and asked her to accept it. They were all relatives anyway, so she would not worry about not having the chance to return the favor in the future. After the eldest cousin's wedding was held, Shen Tianxing's family also began to prepare things for the new year. As the president of Shen's ecological manor and resort hotel, Shen Wenru is also very busy at the end of the year. He has to prepare for various New Year activities, as well as the company's dinner and lottery at the end of the year, etc. Li Xiaoxia prepared the New Year's goods for her family and gave New Year's gifts. For families with particularly good relationships, such as the Dugu family, the Fu family, and General Li, Shen Tianxing would prepare a special annual gift. When Shen Tianxing was preparing gifts, she suddenly thought of Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziai, who were far away in the capital. Among the Ning family, only Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziai are good. After the incident with the Ning family, I heard that Wei Lanlan and her natal family had also severed ties. Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziai really never came to see her again, and the mother and son just lived their little lives in silence. The more sensible and conscious they are, the less they want to trouble and drag her down. On the contrary, Shen Tianxing feels a little pity for them. She thought that when she went to Dugu's house to give gifts before the new year, she would stop by to see them and give them some New Year's things. When Shen Tianxing was preparing New Year's gifts for each family, those families with whom he had good relationships also sent New Year's gifts to the Shen family and her early. Those various New Year gifts soon filled the entire room on the first floor of their home. They all seemed to know her habit of returning gifts based on the size of the gift. They also knew that the things she gave out were rare goods, so the gifts they gave to her family and her were getting more and more precious. Shen Tianxing had no choice but to adjust the New Year's gifts he wanted to give based on the New Year's gifts from each of their families. As expected, those who received Shen Tianxing's return gift were all beaming. The gifts Shen Tianxing gave in return were usually things that even the richest people couldn't buy on the market. These people have now figured out Shen Tianxing's temperament. If you are good to her, she will be better to you. If you give her a good gift, she will give you a better gift in return. If all the relatives and friends around him were as good at life as Shen Tianxing, then everyone's relationship would be harmonious and there would be no conflicts. On the 28th day of the year, Shen Tianxing made an appointment with Dugu Zixi early in the morning. On this day, she would go to Dugu's house in person to deliver New Year's gifts to the old man and his wife, as well as his future father-in-law and mother-in-law. Mr. Dugu and his wife were waiting for Shen Tianxing at home. As the president, Dugu Junan, and his presidential wife Yaningning were extremely busy at the end of the year. The couple had to travel everywhere to express condolences and care. After Dugu Zixi and Shen Tianxing had breakfast at the Shen family, they returned to the Dugu family in the capital through space. Shen Tianxing took out the delicacies, spiritual tea, spiritual wine, etc. prepared in the space, carried them with Dugu Zixi, and walked downstairs. Mr. Dugu and his wife had been looking forward to Shen Tianxing's arrival early in the morning. When they saw the two of them coming downstairs, they both smiled and narrowed their eyes. Mrs. Dugu smiled and joked at her, "Oh, my little star, you are finally here. Grandma has been looking forward to you all morning, and her eyes are almost filled with anticipation." Mr. Dugu also laughed loudly and said, "Xiao Xing, your grandma has been going back and forth dozens of times to wait for you to come. It's not easy. Dominating the powerful families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 197. Shen Tianxing looked at the energetic Mr. Dugu and Mrs. Dugu and smiled crookedly. Grandpa, Grandma, it's only 9 o'clock. I came early enough. I came here early to accompany you. When Mr. Dugu and Mrs. Dugu heard her words, they also laughed together. The old lady greeted her, come on, Xiaoxing, come and sit here with Grandma. The old man glanced at the gift bag in Shen Tianxing's hand and asked without politeness, Little Xing, is the bag you are holding a New Year's gift for me? Yes. Grandpa, you are so smart. As the elderly get older, they are just like children, and they have to be coaxed with sweet words to make them happy. Shen Tianxing smiled and sat over, taking out the gifts for them one by one. While taking things out, she told them, these are the health elixirs, spiritual wine and spiritual tea for you and your father. You and your father will have one portion each. This is a health elixir, skincare product and nutritional mask for grandma and mother. I personally prepared them, and the effect is particularly good. When the old lady heard Shen Tianxing's words, she suddenly thought of the repeated requests and instructions of the old sisters and juniors in the compound. They had asked her many times, and she was embarrassed not to mention them for them. The old lady asked Xiaoxing tentatively, Xiaoxing, the grandmothers and aunts in this royal compound have seen that your mother and I have changed during this time. We have become so much younger. They also want to buy these skincare products. Look, can you sell some to them? They are not short of money. You can sell these skincare products and nutritional products as luxury goods, and you can also make some pocket money. However, if you are too tired, if so, forget it. Shen Tianxing thought for a while. The backstage behind every woman in this royal compound was not simple. If these relationships and connections were managed well, it would also be good for her. Although she doesn't need them now, it's always good to prepare for a rainy day. In addition, now the old lady has spoken out for them, which proves that she also approves of her dealings with them and doing their business. Thinking of this, Shen Tianxing smiled and asked, Grandma, how many people are there? If there are not many, I can take care of them for the time being. If there are too many, I'm afraid I will have to find another way. The old lady smiled and said, there are not many people who can come to me to ask for help. There are only about 10 families. Each family has 2 or 3 women, which is about 30. 30 copies, that's no problem. I can deliver it to you in a week. When Shen Tianxing said this, he asked the old lady again, Grandma, how much do you think these things are worth? The old lady pondered for a while before answering her. The effect of using this set of skincare products is like a new layer of skin. The results are immediate. If you want to consume it as a top-notch luxury product, then it will be a set of 10,000 yuan. A small bottle of this facial mask sells for almost 10,000 yuan. As for this health pill, Xiaoxing, are you willing to sell it too? Shen Tianxing replied, you can sell it, but it must be sold in limited quantities. After all, this health elixir is made of precious Chinese medicines. Grandpa and Grandma have all used it. You should experience this benefit. For ordinary people, the effect is very good. If you keep taking it, all diseases will be eliminated. If you really want to sell it, this small bottle of 20 pills will cost at least 1 million or more. The old lady waved her hand generously, it's just 1 million. Those people have a lot of money. If they can buy a healthy body with such a small amount of money, they will definitely rush to buy it. I think this 1 million is cheap now, why not sell it for 2 million yuan? There are 20 pills in this small bottle. 1 pill a month can last for more than a year. On average, it only costs 100,000 yuan a month. Anyone in this royal compound can afford it? Affordable. Mr. Dugu echoed the old lady's words with a smile, that's right. Xiao Xing, you only sell a few bottles a month. The supply is limited. Good things have to be sold hanging to achieve a high price. What do you think? Duguzixi also nodded and said, Grandpa and Grandma are right, Xiao Xing, let's do it this way. This way you don't have to work so hard refining medicine every day. He also quietly said to Shen Tianxing through his spiritual consciousness, I will help you refine these health-preserving elixirs from now on. For Immortal ZI-11, who has recovered his memory, refining these elixirs for mortals is simply overkill and overkill. Shen Tianxing listened to their opinions, nodded with a smile and said, okay, then I'll do as you say. Shen Tianxing and Duguzixi chatted with the old man and the old lady all morning. After having lunch with them, Shen Tianxing and Duguzixi proposed to go find Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi and give them some New Year gifts. Mr. Dugu and Mrs. Dugu also understood Shen Tianxing's filial piety, but kept telling them to come back for dinner in the evening. Shen Tianxing didn't say yes directly, but just said tactfully, Grandma, let's check the situation in the afternoon. If we don't come back for dinner, I will call you in advance. The old lady nodded, okay, then go ahead and pay attention to safety outside. If anything happens, just call back. Shen Tianxing responded with a smile, Grandma, we know it. Grandpa, Grandma, goodbye. Goodbye. The old lady watched Shen Tianxing and Duguzixi holding hands as they walked out the door, and said to the old man with some emotion, it's so hard for Xiao Xing to still have such filial piety, he is such a good boy. Mr. Dugu nodded, despite her young age, she understands who is good and who is not. The old lady also smiled and praised, isn't it? Xiao Xing is really sensible, filial, obedient, and capable. I really like Xiao Xing from the bottom of my heart. I don't like anyone else except this granddaughter-in-law recognize. Mr. Dugu rolled his eyes at her, it sounds like someone is forcing you to find another grandson-in-law. The old lady glared at him and said, don't tell me, some people are still determined to give up and even now deliberately bring their granddaughters around in front of me. Sometimes I get annoyed when I see them. The old man looked at her speechlessly, since you feel bored, then don't meet them. Why do you still see them? The old lady snorted coldly, these are all old friends. To play mahjong, we have to find 4 people to support the legs of the table. How can we just break it off? Just deal with it? While the old man and the old lady were chatting, Shen Tianxing had already gotten into the black luxury car driven by Duguzixi and sped away towards the home of Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 198. Wei Lanlan's current job was one that Shen Tianxing asked Duguzixi to find for her. She was working as a civilian secretary in the secretariat of a company owned by the Dugu family. Her usual job is to organize various company documents. The work is not tiring, she can get to and from get off work on time, and she is well paid. Of course, Shen Tianxing and Duguzixi specifically asked the people in the company to take care of her. The place where Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi, mother and son, now live is right next to the company where she works. It is a newly built large community. The transportation is quite convenient, and you can take a car when you go out. Most of the people living in this new community are young people from other places who have come to the capital to start their own businesses. They made money in the capital, bought a house in this new community, and settled down. Of course, locals in the capital also buy houses here, but relatively speaking, there are relatively few. This new large-scale community has a larger proportion of young people, is very energetic, and has relatively little gossip. It is very suitable for people like Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi who like to live quietly after experiencing big twists and turns. Duguzixi and Shen Tianxing's car had just arrived downstairs where Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi lived. Before they got out of the car, Shen Tianxing and Duguzixi, who had sensitive ears, heard Ning Zi upstairs. He yelled sharply and horribly, "You beast, let go of my mother, let go of my mother, you beast, beast, I'll beat you to death, beat you to death." At this time, another man roared, "You little bastard, get out of here. Get out of here." Ah! When Shen Tianxing and Dugu Zixi heard Ning Zi's screams, they had no time to think about it. They got out of the car and flew up in an instant. As soon as they entered the house, they saw Ning Zi being kicked against the wall, falling to the ground, fainting, and blood was flowing from her head. Wei Lanlan had also been knocked unconscious and was placed on the bed in the room. A middle-aged scumbag with a wretched face was pressing on Wei Lanlan, tearing her clothes apart and trying to do violence to her. There were two other gangsters in the room, looking at the violent side of the middle-aged scumbag in the room, gloating and saying that they would also have a taste of this woman soon. When Shen Tianxing saw Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi being treated like this and bullied by these scum, he immediately exploded. She rushed directly into the room, lifted the scumbag off Wei Lanlan, then raised her feet and severely trampled on the scumbag's hands and feet. Click, click. After a few crisp sounds, the middle-aged scum instantly let out a shrill scream, "Ah!" Listening to the screams of this middle-aged scumbag, Shen Tianxing not only did not feel relieved, but a kind of anger ignited in her chest, spreading in her heart and burning crazily. Now, just a few scumbags with no power and no backing dare to bully her, Shen Tianxing's family. She always thought that she had asked Dugu Zixi to arrange a job for Wei Lanlan and arrange a school for Ning Zi. If she can do all this, she has fulfilled her responsibility. But she didn't expect that when she couldn't see it, how many people would ridicule and bully this pair of orphans and widowers who had fallen from a wealthy family into ordinary people. Shen Tianxing's eyes were red, and he felt that he had failed in his responsibility to put their mother and son into such an embarrassing situation. She had the ability to help them live a better life, but because of the Ning family and what the Ning family did, she also became alienated and indifferent to Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi, who had been living in the Ning family. I don't want to get too close to their mother and son. Therefore, after the incident in the Ning family, she knew clearly that the temperament of the mother and son was good, but she just let Dugu Zixi settle them down. She felt that she had done her best by doing so, so she never asked about the mother and son again. Living situation. But now, she discovered that she was wrong. If mother and son had been living a good life, she could also live with a clear conscience. But now when he saw their mother and son being bullied like this by some scumbags, Shen Tianxing felt that he had not fulfilled his responsibility. If she can't even protect her own relatives, no matter how powerful and wealthy she is in this world, what will happen? Shen Tianxing couldn't even imagine now. If she and Dugu Zixi hadn't come to visit them today, how miserable would their mother and son have ended up? When he thought of this, Shen Tianxing wished he could kill this scumbag who was already lying on the ground and wailing in pain. Dugu Zixi also knocked out the two gangsters in the living room outside. He quickly picked up Ning Zi who fell to the ground, used his spiritual power to stop Ning Zi's bleeding, and then helped him repair the wound on his head. After doing all this, Dugu Zixi entered the room to see how Shen Tianxing was doing. When Dugu Zixi saw Shen Tianxing's eyes were red and her face was filled with self-blame and sadness, he instantly knew what was going on in her mind. He was very afraid that Shen Tianxing would go astray and get stuck in the horns, so he quickly stepped forward and took Shen Tianxing into his arms. Little don't come to harm others, okay? While Dugu Zixi comforted her, he stretched out his hand to caress her head, and smoothly transferred the spiritual energy into her brain, allowing her brain to regain consciousness. Shen Tianxing hugged him tightly, feeling the warmth he brought and trying not to let the tears in his eyes flow. Since her reincarnation in this world, Shen Tianxing's life has basically been living in a honeypot, and her daily life is full of laughter. She had never been as heartbroken and self-blaming as she was now, and she really had the urge to cry hard. But she couldn't cry. She still has to deal with these scum. She also wants to relocate Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi so that they can live in a safe place, so that they don't have to go through embarrassing things like now, and don't let any scum have the opportunity to bully them. Shen Tianxing forced back his tears. She gently pushed Tugozixi away, looked at him and said, "I'm fine. Drag this scumbag out first and have someone deal with them quickly. I'll change her clothes first." She and Wei Lanlan have never lived together. To Wei Lanlan, she cannot call her mom and can only call her she. Wei Lanlan's clothes had been torn by that middle-aged scumbag and could no longer be worn. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 199. Dugozixi nodded, then stretched out his hand to caress her head, and said with pity, "Xiao Xing, don't be too sad. If this is really to blame, then I must be blamed for not sending someone to protect them." Shen Tianxing quickly covered his mouth and stopped him, "Don't say that, I've already figured it out. It's not our fault, it's the fault of these damn scum. We should be lucky that this matter was discovered early. We still have a chance to make amends, which is a great blessing among misfortunes." Dugozixi nodded slightly, "It's good if you think so. Then I'll drag him out first and let someone come and deal with them." Shen Tianxing closed the door, took out a set of casual sportswear suitable for Wei Lanlan from the space, and put it on for her. Then, she checked Wei Lanlan's body again. When he found out that Wei Lanlan had only been knocked unconscious and not injured, Shen Tianxing finally felt better. The manpower Dugozixi called for arrived quickly. Shen Tianxing asked him to take these three scum back for interrogation first, while she stayed here until Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi woke up. Dugozixi wanted to leave the car keys to Shen Tianxing. But Shen Tianxing shook his head, "You better hold it. At my age, I'm not suitable for driving either." Dugozixi added, "Then I'll pick you up later." Shen Tianxing nodded, "Okay." Dugozixi glanced at the room and warned, "Then be careful, let's leave first." Shen Tianxing watched Dugozixi and his men escort the three scum away. She saw the family next door quietly opening half of the door and peeping at them. Shen Tianxing glanced at them coldly and closed the door tightly, blocking their prying eyes. She didn't believe that the people next door didn't hear Ning Ziyi's shout just now, but they didn't come out to help their mother and son. Shen Tianxing can understand this kind of indifferent neighbor relationship, but he will never have a deep friendship with him. As long as they lend a helping hand to Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi, Shen Tianxing will not treat them badly today. It's a pity that the opportunity has come to them, but they missed it because of their caution and the wise and self-protective mentality of everyone sweeps the snow in front of their own door and doesn't care about the frost on others' tiles. Shen Tianxing couldn't say that what they did was wrong. Everyone had their own choice. But if you choose to be indifferent to other people's difficulties today, they will definitely be indifferent to you when you are in trouble in the future. This is one drink and one peck, one cause and one effect, and it has its own destiny. While waiting for their mother and son to wake up, Shen Tianxing went to the kitchen to cook a few more dishes. When she finished cooking, Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi were also awakened by the aroma of her cooking. Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi both remembered what happened before they fainted, and both mother and son jumped up in shock. Wei Lanlan saw that she had changed into a set of clothes, thinking that she had been insulted. Her face became even paler, her brain felt like it had been hit hard, and her body was shaking. Ning Ziyi also shouted loudly, "Mom, Mom, Mom." He thought the person cooking in the kitchen must be Wei Lanlan. Unexpectedly, I rushed over and saw a girl as beautiful as a fairy, holding bowls and chopsticks, about to come out. Ning Ziyi's eyes widened for a moment. After a while, he tentatively called out, "Second sister." Ning Ziyi had seen Shen Tianxing's photos, and Shen Tianxing's appearance was deeply engraved in his mind. He also heard his mother talk a lot about his second sister, and knew that his second sister was very powerful, and was even engaged to the president's son. The second sister was the one who was truly destined to have a good life. Shen Tianxing smiled at him. "Are you awake? Are you hungry?" Ning Ziyi nodded, then immediately shook her head. At this time, Wei Lanlan heard voices outside, and she also walked out with a white face. When she saw Shen Tianxing here, her eyes suddenly lit up and she shouted in a hoarse voice, "Xiao Xing." Shen Tianxing also smiled at her, and explained the reason for her appearance here. "I thought it was time to celebrate the new year, so I and Zixi came over to give you some New Year gifts. Unexpectedly, we happened to run into those gangsters. You don't have to worry, Zixi has captured them all and will not let them out to harm others. I changed your clothes, you are fine, Zi should be fine now too." Wei Lanlan looked at Shen Tianxing with gratitude in her eyes, thinking that she had never taken her with her for a day, but she still remembered them and wanted to send them something to celebrate the new year. Wei Lanlan burst into tears. Seeing her crying so hard, Shen Tianxing quickly winked at Ning Ziyi and motioned for him to come forward and comfort his mother. Unexpectedly, Ning Ziyi walked to his mother, hugged her and cried together. He was really scared just now. At this time, when he saw that his mother was well and that his powerful second sister was here, the grievance, fear, helplessness and sadness in his heart suddenly burst out. Shen Tianxing felt astringent in his heart when he looked at the mother and son holding each other's arms and crying. Originally, they all lived in wealthy families, living a life of luxury and luxury. But now, their family is ruined, and they have fallen from a rich family to an ordinary citizen. This huge psychological gap, no matter how calm Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi are, no matter how silently they accept the reality, I must be very sad in my heart. Shen Tianxing understood their feelings and did not step forward to persuade them. He just allowed the mother and son to vent their feelings happily. Only by pouring out the tears accumulated in their hearts and not letting these tears blind their eyes can their mood become clear and clear. After Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi cried a lot, they felt much better. Mother and son looked at Shen Tianxing, both feeling a little embarrassed. Wei Lanlan also apologized to Shen Tianxing. "I'm sorry. Xiao Xing, we lost our composure." Shen Tianxing looked at her and smiled lightly. "It's okay, I understand. Are you all hungry? I made some vegetable rice. Let's eat and chat at the same time, okay?" The meals made by Shen Tianxing are all spiritual materials produced in space. Eating them can nourish the body. Wei Lanlan looked at the 5 dishes and 1 soup on the table, looked at Shen Tianxing in surprise, and asked, "Xiao Xing, did you make these?" Shen Tianxing responded with a smile, "My craftsmanship is pretty good. Come over and try it." Ning Ziyi took a deep breath, blinked her eyes, and said coquettishly to Wei Lanlan, "Mom, the food cooked by my sister is so delicious. I want to eat it so much." Shen Tianxing smiled at him, "Then come over and eat." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 200. Shen Tianxing didn't have deep feelings for Ning Ziyi, a well-behaved and sensible little brother. But just now, when I saw him at such a young age, when he knew his mother was being bullied, he knew how to rush forward to protect her. His bravery and fearlessness instantly moved Shen Tianxing's face. He is only 8 years old this year. Even though his strength was very small at this time, he still rushed forward bravely. At that moment, Shen Tianxing had already decided that she would protect her innocent little brother for the rest of his life and never let him be frightened like he was today. Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi sat down carefully. This is obviously their home, but Wei Lanlan and Ning Ziyi still feel a little awkward when facing Shen Tianxing. Wei Lanlan looked at the table of delicacies that she wanted to eat from the smell, then looked at Shen Tianxing, and asked her hesitantly and distressedly, Xiao Xing, do you often cook at home? Shen Tianxing knew what she meant by asking, and she replied with a smile, cooking is my hobby. Sometimes if I want to do it, I will cook it. If I don't want to do it, I won't do it. My parents now really care about me. It's very good, you don't have to worry about my life there. When Wei Lanlan heard Shen Tianxing say that they were good to her, her worries were relieved. That's good if they are good to you, I feel relieved too. Shen Tianxing gave the mother and son a chopstick dish each. Here, let's try the snapper. Is it delicious? The snapper made by Shen Tianxing is called real snapper. It is the king of snappers. It tastes extremely delicious, the meat is extremely tender, and it is rich in nutrients. The already delicious snapper, coupled with the aura of the life space, makes it taste so fresh that you can't wait to swallow it all with your tongue. After Neng Ziyi took a bite, her eyes lit up and she said to Shen Tianxing with admiration, Sister, the fish you made is so delicious. This is the most delicious fish I have ever eaten. Real. Shen Tianxing couldn't help laughing when he heard him express his love for the snapper in an exaggerated tone. She gave him another large piece of fish, and then said to him, after eating this fish, you can try the fresh mushrooms and other dishes. They are also delicious. Neng Ziyi was too busy eating at this time to talk. She could only nod her head fiercely to show that she heard what Shen Tianxing said. Seeing that Wei Lanlan and Neng Ziyi were eating so well, Shen Tianxing also ate half a bowl of rice with them. After finishing the meal, Shen Tianxing asked them, would you like to live with me in Su City? Shen Tianxing didn't know how to call Wei Lanlan. She couldn't call her mother, and it wasn't right to call her aunt. She didn't know what to call, and she was quite embarrassed. Wei Lanlan heard her words, but she held her hand happily and said sincerely, Xiao Xing, thank you for your concern, but no, we are all used to living here and don't want to move again moving here and there. Besides, don't you want to go to the capital to go to university in 2 years? If we move there with you now, we won't have to move back again by then, so let's forget it. I know your thoughts and I understand. In my heart, as long as you live well, I will be satisfied. Shen Tianxing patted her hand gently and sighed softly and said, okay, if you don't want to, I won't force you. You are right. In 2 years, I will come here to study at university. After I graduate and get married to Zixi, I will also live here. You really don't have to move around anymore. In addition, I will ask Zixi to send someone over to protect you secretly. I promise, like today it will never happen again. Wei Lanlan's eyes instantly turned red when she heard Shen Tianxing's almost promise, Xiao Xing, you don't have to be so nice to me. The nicer you treat me, the more I feel sorry for you. Shen Tianxing reached out to wipe away the tears that fell from the corners of Wei Lanlan's eyes, and said softly, you gave birth to me in 10 months of pregnancy, which is the greatest kindness. Let's not mention the past things again, okay? Wei Lanlan wiped away her tears and nodded vigorously, okay, I won't mention it anymore, I won't mention it anymore. Shen Tianxing felt that her biological mother was really a woman made of water, and the tears came at every turn. Every time she saw her cry, she felt heartbroken and uncomfortable. Fortunately, Wei Lanlan stopped crying after wiping her tears twice. She began to care about Shen Tianxing's study and life again, and asked a lot about Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing also answered patiently. It was almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon when Dugu Zixi called Shen Tianxing and said that he would pick her up immediately and go back to Dugu's house for dinner. As for Wei Lanlan and Neng Ziyi, he will send people over to protect them and will not let anything happen to them again. Shen Tianxing also told Dugu Zixi to bring all the New Year's gifts when he went upstairs. When they came over before, they heard Neng Ziyi's shout before they even got out of the car. They rushed up before they had time to get the New Year's gifts. Hearing her instructions, Dugozixi chuckled and said, "Don't worry, even if you didn't tell me, I had planned to carry it up later." Not long after, Dugozixi came back carrying several bags of New Year gifts. He politely said to Wei Lanlan, "Auntie, this is a little thought from me and Xiao Xing. It is for you and Zi to eat. If you have anything to do or need, you can give it to me and Xiao Xing call. Here are our mobile phone numbers, please keep them." When Shen Tianxing saw that Dugozixi had arranged all these details, she also felt that he was very heartwarming. He is really a warm man. After saying goodbye to Wei Lanlan and Ning Zi, Shen Tianxing got into Dugozixi's car and returned to Dugu's home. When they returned home, they found that Dugu Junan and Yaningning, a busy couple, were also back. Dugozixi called out lightly, "Dad, Mom." Shen Tianxing also shouted, "Mom, Dad, are you done?" Dugu Junan smiled and said, "I'm always busy with this matter. Today, Xiao Xing, you come over. No matter how busy I am, I still have to find time to have a meal with you." Yaningning also laughed and said, "During this period, we have been running outside all day long. We finally looked forward to your arrival, Xiao Xing, and we also took the opportunity to rest." Shen Tianxing looked at them with a smile and said, "Mom, Dad, no matter how busy you are, you should pay attention to your health and rest. If you are tired, we will feel sorry for you." Dugu Junan and Yaningning laughed together, Okay, we will definitely remember your words, Xiao Xing, and we will never tire ourselves." Yaningning smiled and invited Shen Tianxing again, "Xiao Xing, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Why don't you go back tonight and celebrate the New Year with us?"